Previously on the Paulgrimage.
Fucking shit, I haven't got my passport. I've left it in Edinburgh. Because I'm only on the trains, it just completely slipped my mind. I'm a massive idiot. I'm really annoyed about it.
How could Tom recover from this devastating error? Will he still make it to the aquarium on time? Is the statue of Paul even in the aquarium anyway? Find out in part 2 of the Paulgrimage.
Adam. When you get down to it, this is the issue, really. Like, how can I be trusted to pick my own future when I can't even remember that you need a passport to get into Europe?
But at this big, unexpected break in proceedings, it's time to address the other big, unexpected break in proceedings. Unprofessional Tom filmed his Paulgrimage in 2023. But why is this video only coming out now, in 2026?
Hello, I'm wildly unprofessional Tom, and I'm here to explain why the project's late.
Reason 1 is my laziness. Reason 2 is a sort of natural sense of indolence that I have incubated over the years. And reason 3 is that both of those last two reasons are probably way too harsh, because I almost definitely have ADHD.
The key thing, really, is that this is a project run on uncertainty. Back when I was doing, the original Paulgrimage, I was very uncertain about the future. I just quit my job for Saudi Arabia, and I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know what anything held. I just needed some kind of guidance, which is why we searched for Paul to give that guidance. Because, I didn't know the future. And in 2024, I still didn't really know the future. I was trying to make it in time for the Euros in 2024. That was the big goal. So, I only gave myself 1 year to do it, which clearly is not enough time. So that was the aim. And in 2024, I wasn't entirely certain, but I was a lot more certain. And I was a lot more certain because I was in love. And it was really great. And I was sitting there making a documentary about an octopus instead of being with someone I loved. And she was upset about that, and I was upset about that. So I went to see her, and I abandoned the documentary, and I regret nothing. And that was really great. Until the point, of course, where it wasn't. Not anyone's fault. She just wanted to move back to America, where the World Cup is now. And I did not want to move to America, and it's really sad. It still breaks my heart. But the uncertainty's back, everybody. The uncertainty's back, which is the ground conditions that we need for this project to work. And so, just in time for this next football tournament, set in America, of course, this time, we're finally here to see the Paulgrimage through. Still, every pilgrimage has its trials, that part of the process where it feels like you aren't going to get there. Whether it be in 2023 when you're heading the wrong way to collect a passport, whether it be in 2026 when you realise you've only got 4 days until the World Cup's on and you really need to get on with making this finished. Every pilgrimage has a trial, and it's all part of attaining that enlightenment, the fact that you went through such a hard time to get there, and we are going to get there. Even Paul himself had trials. At Euro 2008, Paul was not good enough. He had his predictions. He did predictions at Euro 2008. Not everyone knows that. But he let the home pressure of his new tank in Germany get to him. And he caved. He caved to it. He just predicted that they would win. every single game. Now, this was Germany in 2008, so that wasn't too bad a guess. They did win a decent chunk of their games at that Euros. The 6 games, they won 4. So that's okay. That's all right. But it's not the Paul that we know and love. Paul took something from that too. He took something from that to build towards this proper success. And that was that he had to ignore what his keepers wanted. He just had to do the right thing. What the universe said must occur is what he would then deliver from that day onwards. And speaking of delivering, what can we find the passport? In about 10 seconds. Alright. Passport. 10 seconds. Oh, it's not here. Okay. More than 10 seconds. How exciting for everyone. Where is it then? Oh no, there it is. God damn it. God damn it. And so, after that incredibly easy to find passport was found, unprofessional Tom rushed to the airport, caught the flight, and he was on his way to Amsterdam. The Paulgrimage was back on. Right. Let's try again. Paul, too, got back on track at the 2010 World Cup, for which he is famed. This time, he ignored the pressure, and the pressure was coming from all over, from his keepers, from the German fans, from threats and counter-threats, from every team who he predicted would lose, especially the dastardly Argentines, who, as we all know, are Italians who think they're English. But Paul was unflappable. He simply saw what was inevitable and told us all. So he too became inevitable. And as inevitable as the tides, as inevitable as the moon, as inevitable as Yogi Low having a cheeky sniff after an on-camera ball scratch. Whilst unprofessional Tom is making his way over to the continent, we should analyse one thing though. What actually were the odds?
Tell me the odds.
They were 1 in 256. That is assuming, of course, that every game of football has a 50-50 chance of going one way or the other. You'll have immediately noticed the fallacy in what I just said, which is that football teams are not equally as good. Otherwise, you would not need to play football. You could just flip a coin.
Call it.
Also, any of those games could easily have been draws, especially the group ones that would have had to finish as a draw. And if they had been going to be draws, Paul would have had to find an option, some way to express that, maybe not eat out of either tank. But luckily for the keepers of Oberhausen, that wasn't required. All of the games were wins, and Paul knew that. I've found some historic odds online from various betting websites, and by stacking all of those together, it seems to me that the odds of Paul getting all of those games right were about 1,312 to 1.
Here is the working out behind that claim.
So pretty long odds, but I was probably expecting a bigger number, to be honest. The Serbia result was the most helpful in contributing to that. Germany hadn't lost a World Cup group game since the 80s, I believe. So, yeah, that was a particularly long odds prediction by Paul. Very well done, Paul. So it's long, but it's not that long. It's only 4 times more unlikely, just about, than the initial calculation, based on every match being a coin flip. So we're not that far outside the line. But, you know, it's Paul. He's special.
Can't find the charger.
By now, unprofessional Tom had arrived in Amsterdam, and he'd met up with his brother, Joseph, who is also my brother, Joseph. Time travel is very confusing.
And nothing came up.
Nothing came up.
Unprofessional Tom and Joseph journeyed from Amsterdam out of the Netherlands and into Germany. On their way, they stopped off in Dortmund for about an hour or so, during which time they ventured to the atrium of the German Football Museum, which is out there in Dortmund, and they asked at reception if this lovely museum happened to have any exhibits regarding Paul the Psychic Octopus, and they reassured us in perfect, fluent English that they had absolutely no idea what we were talking about.
Österreich-Restaurant war in Kilometer Station Oberhausen Zentral. Der Bahnhof in 4 minutes. We arrive our next stop, Oberhausen. We would like to say goodbye to all passengers leaving us.
So we had arrived in Oberhausen. We were staying in a hotel overnight, and in the morning we would head to the aquarium and see if we could properly complete the Paulgrimage.
Like the number of legs on an octopus?
Whilst we wait for unprofessional Tom and Joseph to finish sleeping, though, I thought I would have a little chat about a different figure, a different animal oracle that I found doing the research for this video. This was a koala at Leipzig Zoo. So, obviously, in the aftermath of Paul, lots of German zoos trying to do the predicting game as a fun PR stunt. And this particular koala in Leipzig Zoo was a phenomenal example because she was the pure antithesis of Paul in that she got every single prediction wrong, which, when you think about it, is actually as impressive as Paul, because the odds of getting them all wrong are, of course, exactly as unlikely as getting them all right. Other copycats, most of the attempted animal oracle predictions came somewhere
between these two sublime options.
Glorious mediocrity awaited for all of them.
So I'd like to take a moment now to pay tribute. If Paul truly was 1 in 256, then let's hear it for the 255.
Fateful day was here. Unprofessional Tom and Joseph set off for Oberhausen Aquarium.
We're here in Oberhausen. The Sea Life Centre is behind me, and it may or may not have the sacred statue of Paul the Psychic Octopus. Let's go and see if it does. We've taken shelter by the otters. Joseph is here. So we've been inside. We've seen a common octopus. We've seen one of Paul's species, one of Paul's relatives.
Friends.
Here in Oberhausen. Friend, relative, lover, maybe. We don't know. There's even more swarming with children than Weymouth was. There are like 5 different school trips. It's an absolute nightmare. It's so loud.
So yeah, so the otters are where we can actually say something, which is we're worried. Because we've been through the octopus bit, and there was no statue.
It's got a map. Doesn't mention octopus. So it doesn't mention octopus at all, let alone Paul.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. We hate to see it in the modern game. As we got deeper and deeper into the aquarium, we became more and more panicked. Wo ist Paul? Quick update. We're beginning to lose hope. We've been through the Amazon, we've been through the ocean. No sign of Paul's statue. And at the equivalent point in his journey, professional Tom was also struggling. You see, he had been reading German language Wikipedia. Specifically, of course, the German language Wikipedia article about Paul. And on there, he had come across a shocking revelation, as reported in Bild magazine, that Paul might not actually have been from Weymouth after all. Professional Tom also found something else distressing on that German language Wikipedia. He found that PR agency Diederich Reinecker and Partner received the International German PR Prize in 2011 for its press and media work on Paul the Octopus. They were the ones who suggested that the aquarium put the boxes in and try and engage in some football-related fun. Had this whole thing just been a ploy, a scam? Had this all been a waste? Was it just shameful waste and decadence? Like the 2010 president of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, did actually say Paul was? Also, look at this series of pictures. He always takes the right-hand side box. Maybe it was just dumb luck. Maybe it was just 50-50. But no, we can dismiss all of that. First of all, the Instagram account, whose pictures we just saw, had reversed some of the images. They always put the boxes down to match the way that the World Cup fixture list had it in the aquarium. So for the Germany-England game, Germany were actually on the left, as this video proves.
Germans are thrilled he's tipped them to win Sunday's World Cup match against England. The process is rudimentary. Paul simply picks a mussel from one of 2 water glasses, each marked with the country's flags. At the Sea Life Centre in Oberhausen, where he lives, there's no doubting his powers.
The stuff about the Hand of Elba is also dubious. This claim that Paul was of Italian origin was made by one Verena Bach, who worked at the rival Sea Star Aquarium in Coburg, and claimed that having brought Paul to that Sea Star Aquarium earlier on in 2010, that he was shipped to the Sea Life in Oberhausen, and then she spotted him in the tank and recognized him. Of course, there are some flaws to this story. First of all being, how do you recognize an octopus? They're very changeable creatures. Sea Life story is that there was an octopus from the Sea Star Aquarium in Coburg that did get sent to them, but then they shipped it out to one of their other outlets in Speyer, also in Germany, which I do genuinely think is reasonably plausible. And, you know, PR agencies, having worked for one before I went on this quest, always try and take credit for stuff that is simply just going to happen anyway. But there is still one fundamental issue. Where's Paul?
If all else fails, just green screen the octopus on it.
Every fish that wasn't Paul felt like a punch in the gut, a slap to the face. And there were a lot of other fish there. It's an aquarium. yet. Still not yet. Alright. So this is the exit. And there's been no call. Seemed unthinkable. But there we were, in the gift shop of Oberhausen Sea Life, and there had been no Paul. What do you do as a pilgrim when your holy shrine is nowhere to be found? Sacked by the sacrilegious heathens of Sea Life. History tells us what you do is crusade. But Paul does not vault such an action, and I'm not sure there's even enough believers left to storm the aquarium. It was just me and Joseph. I'm not sure he's that fussed, really. But just when all seemed lost. Is this Paul that remains? I think it might be. But at least there's acknowledgement, at least there's something. Fundamentally, he has been replaced by one of those grabby machines. And that's disgraceful. And it just goes to show how quickly people forget. I am 99% sure that square, that slightly differently coloured square on the floor is where the octopus statue was. It's based on several old photos. Here are the photos now. Same wall behind it. You've got to admit, that's pretty compelling. I have sent Joseph, as someone who actually speaks German, to ask the staff about the statue. What happened, Joseph? Tell me.
Well, I asked the person on the desk whether she remembered Paul, and she did remember Paul. She knew who Paul was immediately. And I said, well, I believe on Wikipedia it says there's a shrine here in Oberhausen to Paul the Octopus, but we can't find it. I said we've come from England purely just to see him, and she said, "Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask." So she got on the phone. She rang the reception and she asked
about the statue.
About the shrine. I said. That's how I said it. And,
okay.
And then she said, "No, yes, they used to have one.
Yeah.
But they don't have one anymore." So I said, "Not at all?" And she said, "Not at all." So she didn't even mention the bit on the wall.
Yeah. So she didn't even know.
Yeah. I think Paul's ashes are no more.
2 years after Unprofessional Tom's visit, 1 year after Professional Tom's failure, Joseph went back to Dortmund and went back to the Museum of Football there. And you'll never guess what he found.
I happened to be going through Dortmund again, and I went to the museum properly. I took a look around, and lo and behold, in one of the display cabinets, there he lay, the ashes of Paul within the urn, lying on its side in the display cabinet. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that Paul was there, and I couldn't believe that those 2 years prior, the man at the reception desk had lied to us.
I believe that the key takeaway is that Germany, much like Weymouth, simply did not deserve Paul. And there we are. The Paulgrimage is complete. Did we find a statue? No. But we did find a wall with some pictures of newspapers on. So, in the end, all animal oracles are just humanity expressing a desire to live in an inexplicable world, one that is safe and ordered and predictable. Wouldn't it be nicer to live in an inexplicable world with a clear future mapped out and presented to us? And maybe for comfort sometimes, but the world is not explicable, as this journey and the multiple failures within this journey have shown us. But a fully predetermined universe would be horrible. You would always know what was going to happen. It would be really, really boring. Nobody could do anything unpredictable, like jack it all in and go on a quest, a random mad quest, to see an octopus. I've learned nothing, I've gained nothing. And it was arbitrary to obsess over Paul. Of course it was. I've already admitted this, but I'm admitting it again. It was arbitrary to have spent at least £700 on these various quests, to have had a space in the back of my mind devoted to this octopus for the last over 3 years. This took so long that the camera shop that I bought a lav mic from for when this project started has now shut down, been turned into a pub, and now I run a quiz every week at that pub. When this project started, I didn't run any quizzes. And I never even got that mic to work. So all of this is arbitrary. Choosing the octopus choosing his boxes. It's all a random, chaotic sequence of meaningless events. But I take ownership. Of all the stupid things that I could have done with my time, I did this. And so you may still ask, why should a man find octopus? Because it is there. Well, it's not. It's not there. We established that it's in fact not there. But it was.
When men were first drawn to Everest, it was an unknown quantity. Something entirely beyond them. Bound for a cold, white world. A world that is all up and up. But you're not. You're moving in a dream that deludes and debilitates.